Hey, what's up? I'm Zoe, and today, if I have my life together finally, which would be, you know, an accomplishment, today should be BTS's anniversary. Yay! Back in 2013, BTS, bangtan, they debuted and changed my life forever. A video where I just chat about BTS, I thought that would be the perfect thing to do because I really just didn't have any other ideas. So I am here and I'm gonna do a makeup look, and I'm just gonna sit here and talk with you about BTS, about how I got into BTS, about some of my favorite things about being BTS, favorite memories and things like that. Let's get started. Let's start off with how did I find BTS? It's not as interesting of a story as I think most people's is. I think the common phrase that people use in the fandom is like, oh, you find BTS when you're meant to find them. They come into your life at like that perfect moment, and I honestly think that's true, because the moment that I found BTS was back in 2013. I know I'm an OG, but I found them because I was on Tumblr, as most people were at that time. I think K-pop was really thriving on that platform, especially in that era. Just remember being like, who are these boys that everyone is talking about? And they just kept popping up, and I finally decided to check them out, and I looked at some of their pre-debut stuff, and I was just like, wow, they're really interesting. I think until that point I really wasn't interested in a lot of new groups that were coming out. They just weren't making music that I really was obsessed with or anything like that. So I was kind of on my way out. I was like, I think I want to focus more on school. I want to focus more on my like just social life and things like that. I already was like super like getting attached to some of the members. I think the first one who caught my eye was Jungkook, and then Yoongi. And I liked both of them, but I thought all of the members were really cute, and I was just like, okay, what's going on here? I don't know. Once that debut came out and I heard No More Dreams, like seriously, a song that was to the youngsters without dreams, like it sounded like a song for me. The next most common question I think that people always wonder whenever they find out that you're an ARMY is, who is your bias? So my bias is definitely Yoongi. He is definitely that guy for me. So Jimin is definitely my second bias. I started really loving Jimin when I think got my life together back in 2013 and early 2014, because when I came back to school in the fall semester in 2013, life was just kicking my ass pretty much. I really didn't have time to keep up with K-pop or ゚okay too, so I missed majority of that era. It is something that I look back on and I wish I would have been more present, but you know, things happen. I spent pretty much all of winter break catching up on all of the year ends, all of the performances from ゚okay. I really started to notice Jimin, and I really loved his relationship with Yoongi, and that's where that kind of stemmed from. He's just very hard to overlook. He's just so cute, and I just being a fan of BTS has definitely taken me through a ride of emotions. I think that there are so many highs of being a fan, and there's so many lows of being a fan. Not because of the boys per se, but just some of the things you have to go through in the fandom. I think another question that people have whenever you've been a stan for so long, like literally debut era until now, how did you do it? How do you stay interested? How do you keep yourself motivated as being a fan? And it's very easy, I think, is the music. I always am listening to BTS music, like always. If I make a playlist, if you want me to make a playlist for you, BTS is going to be on there somewhere. And I love music. So I think that at the core, for me in particular, music is always going to play a big part of that. And I think also because I have such a familiarity with them as like people, and just their personalities, and just knowing how genuine they are and all of that, it just adds to the experience. You listen to the music and then you get to hear the whole behind the scenes process of what their inspiration were for the music, and you know, just seeing that really inspires you, and it just makes the songs better. Like, I don't know, I love seeing their growth, and I think a lot of times throughout the years they have also pushed me to opened my mind to new type of genres that I probably wouldn't have listened to otherwise. Dark and Wild, which is this very emotional, very still hip-hop based album, like a continuation of what the School trilogy was sound-wise. Like, it didn't throw you for a loop is really what I mean. But then we get In the Mood for Love Part 1, and I was like, what is this? It was a total change. It was a transition. So like, whenever I see people talking about how BTS has changed, they're not the same, they don't do the same good music anymore, like, these boys have been evolving and changing since the beginning, and it was such a risk to do that when you're a group that hasn't even been around for, you know, even 3 years yet. So it was such a risk for them to change up their genre and their sound overall there, because I Need You just felt so different. Like, the music video was different, the concept was different. We were introducing the idea of having your own universe, and the way that they went about it, I think, was just so different for K-pop, because it's something that didn't just last for an era, or it wasn't something that they only did for teasers. They really gave into that lore side of it, and the burst of fandom, excitement, and interaction that came from then. It's one of those things you just had to be there for. Next big transition of music and sound that really caught me off guard was when we went from fire, you know, fire, to Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Blood, Sweat, and Tears actually took me a really long time to really gravitate towards. I was not a fan of it at first. At first I was just kind of like, what is this? But the performances were just so good, you couldn't help but like tune in, like you had to. I don't know how we survived that, to be quite honest, because they were a force, and a lot of people were shocked by the direction that they went with that, because especially after Fire and how big of a hit that was, and just electric performance that they gave for that every single time, you know, you wouldn't expect them to suddenly go the direction they did, because it just kind of seemed like, why would you do that? Why would you shake the table in that way? But that's also one of the really big stepping stones that I think really put BTS on the map, just because that was the same year that they won their first album of the year. That's also the same year that they won their first artist of the year. Like, are you kidding me? In the moment, I don't think I could see it. I'm not gonna try and act like I give myself that much credit, but at the time, I really, looking back, I think that the fact that BTS never were scared to change up their genres in such a drastic way, I think that's what kept things fresh, and I think that's really what kept people going back, because they're like, what are they gonna do next? We don't know. You can't predict what the sound is going to be from comeback to comeback, and I think that's what really has kept them going. The Billboard Music Award, that one also shook some tables. No one really thought, I don't even think, okay, let's be real, let's be very, very real for a second. I don't even think ARMYs really knew how much that award was going to impact BTS in the end. I think a lot of what I remember from that time is just really just purely just wanting them to be recognized was really what was driving us. It was just us having this unwavering love for them and just believing in them as artists, and just, you know, wanting the world, not just Korea. We wanted everyone to know about this group that we love so, so much. And so I think the best thing about the Billboard Music Awards was just how united we all just became. Because if you know, that was a very hard time, I think, to be an ARMY. And just because of the things that people were saying online about BTS and them going to the Billboard Music Awards, you would not believe. I think I'll always appreciate the Billboard Music Awards for hearing us as a fandom wanting BTS to go to the award show, because we're like, hey, the numbers check. They should be invited. Actually, they should win based on the numbers. You can't like ignore them, because they're like, you know, breaking records over here, and like no one over here is acknowledging how big the fandom really was in America till that point. And let me tell you, the fandom was always big in America, okay? There's a reason why the fandom has grown at the speed that it has, because there were already, even before the BBMAs, before Wings, before, hell, back in 2014, the fandom here was already huge. Just trust me. I just remember telling everyone, watch the BBMAs. BTS is gonna be on there. And they're like, who the hell is BTS? I'm like, you're gonna find out. First time I saw them in concert. It was also in 2017 that I saw BTS live for the first time, and I just remember being so nervous to go because I went to the concert by myself. It was my first concert ever going by myself. I was so nervous, but it was so much fun. I got sound check, which was completely random, but I got it. And I also was on the floor. And so it was just a great first experience. That was also my first ever K-pop concert, so iconic in many ways. Boy With Love. I think that's the first BTS song that I actually managed to hear played on the radio. And I remember freaking out because I just thought it was so cool. Like, for once, there was a song that I was like actually interested in. And if you don't know, majority of radio, basic radio here, is pretty much playing the same 10 songs. Pretty much. They don't really take requests often. They don't really play a lot of the new music unless it's like super viral and like their companies are paying for them to play it. And usually it will take a hefty little check to get that to happen. But like, they wore pink during that era and no one else was doing that. Everyone was doing like dark and sexy and, you know, using deep voices and trying to be like, you know, vampires. And BTS were like, no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna give you this fun pop, like pure pop song, and you're gonna oh my even in 2022. I think it goes without saying that Map of the Soul era was just so, everything it was supposed to be. I continue to, I'll always just wonder if the multiverse is real. I know that there is a version of me that was able to go to that concert and, you know, go in the seats that I had, which were absolutely amazing. Looking back, well, I even knew it in the moment, but I personally love that BTS gave us nothing but really, really happy songs during that time. Getting Dynamite, getting Life Goes On, which was such a soothing and comforting song, getting Butter, getting Permission to Dance. I love that those songs were like cheesy and like kind of like that super, super happy type of music, because 2020 and 2021 were hard. And I think a lot of people know that, but I think also because I am just so connected at this point with BTS, and their music is something that always comforts me and just like always, you know, I connect with it. I said it in the beginning, music is a big part of it. Having those songs that I could not help but smile whenever I'm singing them, I cannot help but smile whenever I'm watching performances. It's like in those moments I would just be so happy and I just wouldn't be thinking about anything else, and all of the performances were just so amazing. And so just watching happiness was great. I think if we were in that time and they released super sad, super dark, super, you know, songs like that, like what I think the fandom was wanting from them at that time, a certain sector of it, I think it probably would have affected my mood a lot more. Now that we have gone through all of that, it brings us back to current day BTS and the album that they are getting ready to release this weekend. I did expect this album, I'm not gonna lie, to be filled with new songs. I did. I thought it was going to be just a bunch of just new material. But at the same time, I'm fine with it. I think it's a really bold move for them to decide to release all of the newer songs on one album, on one CD that is not going to be on streaming. Maybe they will a little bit after the fact. Maybe it's going to be like a slow rollout. Like right now it's CD only, but later it'll be on streaming. I don't know. It could happen, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay waiting for more new music. I don't want them to be as overworked as I feel like I know that they were in the first few years of their career. They were very overworked, and especially in the beginning they were doing all of their own producing, all of their own writing, and they were just very involved in that process. I would love to get at least one album that has totally new music that we can like stream and stuff, but I'm fine with this now. I think we're also reaching an era of BTS where there probably are going to be a lot more changes in the future that we just don't know about. If you know probably what I'm alluding to. I have been in this game long enough with BTS to know that they like to plan, and so I firmly believe they have one. I know they aren't telling us exactly what the plan is, which is frustrating to some people, but at the same time it's not us who has to go. We are just fans, and you know what, I'm gonna be here. When they come back, I'll be here, and I'll be ready to stream whatever music they release or whatever they decide to do at that point. I'll be here. And I think that's the thing you have to do, is you have to trust BTS. They tell us all the time, just trust them. So trust them. Trust them. Trust that they understand their contracts better than you do, because they've actually seen them. Trust that they understand the process of what they're doing to make their music more than you do, because they're actually there. Trust that they know what practice rooms they can be in. Trust they know what studios they can have, because they know the process of getting them and asking for them and everything like that, and what they personally want more than you do. And I think that's one of the lessons I learned very, very early on with BTS and just being in the fandom and all of that. So if you want any advice from me, trust them. I plan on being a fan for as long as they want to be a group, or even for the solo careers and things like that. Oh my gosh, Hoseok, Lollapalooza? Are you kidding me? I am so excited for him for that. It's so random. You could have never, like, I never would have believed you that that was gonna happen. So the fact that it's happening blows my mind, and I'm so happy for him to have this opportunity. And I know he's so nervous. I know he's so nervous, because this is definitely the first solo activity that I think any of the members have done at this scale. So excited for him, and I'm so excited for all of the armies who are going. Okay, so that is everything for this video. I also totally suggest listening to all of the music, because I think that BTS's discography is so good. With this anthology album that is coming out, that has come out by the time you're watching this, it just shows just how great they are as artists and how varied their genres are, and they experiment. They aren't scared to try something new, and I love that about them, and I love that for them. So I hope that everyone is enjoying 613, our holiday, and be sure to check out Proof if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know some of your favorite BTS memories or favorite BTS songs and things like that down below. Subscribe if you have not already. Turn on alerts so you do not miss any videos. And that is everything. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Dreams, baby.